Yeah. No, purple card. Purple card.
Okay, so let me tell you what's wrong with this right now. This is what's wrong with this. And this is what's wrong with society, by the way. This is what's wrong with every major institution that implements something stupid like this. You ready? Look at me.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Look at me.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Look me in my eyeballs. Look me right in my eye sockets. Stare into my soul. Nope, don't look at them. Look at me. You offended me. Purple card. This is the problem. I get to decide what offends me, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense. You can't protect people. You don't have the right to not be offended by me. And by the way, out there, if you work in corporate America, or if you're a housewife, or if you're a kid and you're watching this video, I'm going to tell you something right now. Looking at this stupid document, just because you can put letters by something and make an outline doesn't make you smart. Here's what else pisses me off. Policy overview. Jeff, why don't you read to them the 4 people that can be affected by this policy? Go ahead. Read number 1.
Well, it's more than 4 people.
No, there's 4. 4 numbers.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. They're numbered, by the way. It says 1, dot, has a little list. Like somebody thinks they're a lawyer and they're not. Ready, go.
Yeah. Any Carolina Region adult member, i.e., club directors, coaches, rostered adults, or chaperones.
So any adult member.
Not currently participating in the match.
So I can give a purple card to people who aren't in the match that are adult members. Got it. Who's number 2?
But who has assumed the role of spectator.
Yeah, who's spectating, not coaching.
But they're assuming.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Number 2.
Any Carolina Region junior player not currently participating in the match.
Okay,
and
let's
who
go
has
to 3.
assumed the role
Of a spectator.
See Section 6 for sanction guidelines for
Junior players. Uh-huh. Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Any non-region member, i.e. parents or relatives of any Carolina Region
Okay,
member.
so any parent, not a member. Now, that's what makes that different from number 1. Okay, go ahead.
Any
Number 4.
attendee or spectator of any Carolina Region sanctioned tournament match.
This is what I hate about people who think that they're smart and they're not. You just listed out 4 things that all fall under number 4. Just say number 4. You're trying to make a document. You're trying to make a policy, and you're thinking about all these things. I want to make it look cool. And you're an idiot. Sorry. Whoever wrote this in Carolina Region, I'm sorry, but you put too many words down for things that aren't necessary. It's not necessary to put number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 when all of them fall under number 4. It makes no sense. You're just making a rule to make a rule. You want to give a purple card to spectators. You don't have to specify what different types of spectators there are. Number 5, any person who is not a U.S. citizen who might be in this country on a work visa watching a volleyball match on a Tuesday with a green shirt on. Number 6, anybody who's the producer of a vlog who doesn't know who the top teams in the region are that might be a USAV member or not, but is also a dance instructor. Number 6, my cats. Shut up, Carolina Region.
It does say professional officials will also be provided with a survey link to report all incidences of the purple card warning and penalties given during the season.
You don't get to decide. You don't get to punish people because you're offended. That's what's wrong with this triggered, safe space, social justice bullcrap. If you are offended, I'm sorry. Tell me you're offended and I'll stop because I'm a good person. And people who don't stop, people who offend you on purpose, are either weighing their liberties because they feel like you're infringing on their right to express themselves, or they're bad people. And if they're bad people, you need to work on that. But you don't get to give a purple card because you're a referee with thin skin and cost a team who's been working their butt off a point because your lazy butt's been doing your terrible 9 to 5. You've got a miserable life and you're pissed off at me. You don't get to ruin our kids' lives because you want to throw out a purple card. That's not ruin their lives is probably a little extreme. You don't get to ruin their match. You don't get to ruin their hard work because you got offended because some parent yelled, who, by the way, you don't even know which team they're really cheering for except for you know that they're arguing a call. And, oh, by the way, the policy says, guess what? If they don't acknowledge who's a team they're cheering for, they get kicked out of the facility. Why don't you start with that? If you're so thin-skinned you can't handle some complaints from a spectator, go get the tournament director or the site director and have them kicked out. But don't take a point away from my kids. Idiots. You don't get to punish people when you're offended.
I don't think they take a point away.
No, I'm sorry. You don't get to give a point to the team.
There you go.
Whatever compliments. Pick every little word I say apart when I'm ranting off the top of my head for 20 minutes.
John Tawa reported on this on October 9th of 2017. So this isn't something.
It's the first time hearing of it.
Yeah.
That's
Lone Star's doing it next year.
That's terrible. It's terrible.
So does that mean that if we go to the tour in Houston, that you can get a purple card?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means.
Only because the tour
is in Lone Star, sanctioned by the Lone Star region. Up here, you can't. Sanctioned by the North Texas region.
Yeah.
But this is the point. The point is there's a bunch of bureaucrats who are not bureaucrats, a bunch of HR people who aren't HR people, a bunch of policymakers who don't understand what it means to make policy, doing things that are, look, I'm going to say this right now. If this goes into effect, it will be worse than what USA Volleyball did to the 18s division. If the USA Volleyball rules, if they adopt the purple card, it will be worse for volleyball than any rule they've changed since I've been doing it. This is the worst idea I've ever heard of. It's terrible.
Yeah. I don't know that it'll catch.
They're testing
legs.
it. You want to make the sport better? Get rid of the subjective double. In fact, how about this? Get rid of every judgment call. That's what we need to do. Not add more.
Well, the problem is the word judgment, because
it's subjectivity.
We all joke around where like it's my judgment, and we say, well, it's poor judgment. Like I played the game at a high level. I'm sorry, Mr. Referee, that came out of basketball that played.
Yeah, whose daughter played at the YMCA and thought this would be a good way to make a little bit of extra cash so he could go to McDonald's on the weekend instead of crying in his porch.
Well, I don't know about all that, but he doesn't have the experience that I do during the match. But he has the ability to kind of deter,
to determine your fate of something you've been working your butt off for 6 months on.
Yeah, and then they take give
a point.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Like I said before, I'm going to get my mom to go to the ref thing and become a provisional ref, and then go do her thing, get her little, regional certification.
She won't have to do much.
By knowing, and here, I'll give you an example.
Can she hold her arm straight? Because apparently that's all you need for a regional patch these days.
Well, this weekend,
And by the way, there are good regional refs.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty. But this weekend there was a ref being, evaluated, I think, on one of the courts. And I said, hey, I think, if you guys are being evaluated, you might want to tell the girl who's calling lines in sandals that it's not appropriate.
That's not
because that's a rule.
That's for us, yeah.
No, it's a rule in the country. You can't wear sandals.
Is that a national rule?
Yeah, because the girl tore ACL, slipped on the.
I don't remember, but anyway, fair enough. I won't argue that point.
But I said, hey, just FYI, and I got a condescending remark back, and I said, I was just trying to be helpful.
Yeah, trying to help you.
Like you can't even take,
They're constantly defensive, and they circle the wagons, and they protect each other. They lie to the tournament director when you protest about what they said. It is by and large, and I'm painting with a broad stroke here, it is getting more and more frustrating dealing with people who aren't psychologically cut out to have that job. And what we need to be doing is getting rid of subjective and judgment calls.
Yeah, judgment has to go away.
But that's the problem. And we're adding one.
Right.
That says by its definition, it's terrible.
Well,
Did you get the net? Go to an objective, did you touch that? Not did you touch that on the... Did you cross the center line? Not was it a dangerous, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Did you hit the ball and then hit it again? Not did it have spin?
Right.
Like, get rid of all of the subjectivity. Let the kids play and they know the rules, and here's the rules, and go. I get catches and lifts and throws. That kind of concept is always going to be slightly subjective, came to rest. But can that be the only one, please? Can that please be the only one?
Yeah. I mean, it's rough. I mean, the FIVB, the highest level of our sport, they hardly ever blow the whistle.
Good for them.
I mean, it's initiate play and you were in the net, or foot fault, or But the kids are getting better at setting with their hands.
But that's the thing. It's like we're training a skill. So I asked a high-ranking member of USA Volleyball at the meetings last year. I said, would you be in favor of getting rid of the subjective double, the two call on setting? He goes, no. And I said, why? And he goes, well, why should I be punished for training my kids to be better setters than you? And I said, well, if the rule changed, why are you wasting time you're training them in a skill to do something a certain way. The reason you do it is to make your sets better. You're training them that to help your hitter. Not because it's a possible, we shouldn't be training people to, it's like if you got bonus points if the ball did spin. We would train them to try and set and spin the ball. It doesn't make sense. If that's not a rule, if we took out the subjective double, you would not train your setters to try and set with no spin. You would try to take them to set and put the ball in a certain spot because that's what your hitter wants. And that's what it should be.
I don't know. I bet there's some. I know a kid that is in our club who murders the ball every time, but it is on a dime.
Right. Man. That's what it should be. That should be the rule. Like, exactly my point. Should that kid be costing her team a point because she mangles the ball?
Well, yeah.
Why? Is she catching it?
No, she's.
But is she getting an advantage by setting herself and then hitting to a different area? Like the doubles, by the way, if you want to go back to history of volleyball, was because I have to touch it, then he has to touch it. That's the rule.
Right.
That's what it should be. We even have, if you and I try and pass the ball simultaneously and it hits both of us, how many touches is that?
Which one?
Right. But this isn't? You're telling me these referees are so good, they see this? No. It's terrible.
Some of them might.
It's terrible.
They might be the.
You're not getting your team any advantage. Most of the time when you double a ball, it hurts your team. And you should not say we want to keep a rule because I've been training it this way my whole life. No. Like I've been training middles to pass, but then the libero rule came in. So we adjusted. And I don't know. Get subjectivity out of the game. But again, the purple card is, I can't even. Why are you going to drop that on me? My heart rate's up. My blood pressure is going to, my head's going to explode all over the table. I'm done.
Get well, Tim McGraw.